model has to be on the grid and rotated properly. Good, that we learn that we have to sometimes, if you get model from internet and somewhere else that they have some poses or whatever, then I have to. Now we have this. We are ready now for step 2. Now hard surface skin cluster joint, node joints. Okay, to be able to understand how the joints work. In this case, I will go for a hard surface, and I will do without joints. I break the rules. There is no joints for me. Now I do without the joint. It doesn't mean that I can do it with joints. I cannot do it with joints. I can do with joints, without joints. I can do everything what I want. But in this case, we learn first doing this without joints to be able to understand what joints are, because we talked about every time you talk about rigging, you hear these joints or whatever. And before we do something with joints, I like you to understand what joints are. And that's why I'm doing now without joints, and I replicate the behavior of the joints, that you understand what the joints are, because the joints are something special. Okay, I do now with no joints. That means I will create my controllers now without using joints. Every model has a hierarchy. That means first I decide what the hierarchy here is. I just put down a couple scribbles here that you know what I mean. Okay, I just take one here, and you see we have many parts here. Okay, first you have to find your center of gravity, your master. And normally the master of this human, some character like human being, because it look like a human here. This is this guy here. This is my center here. It will take everything with. Then we have some chest here. I mean, I will just maybe do this way that you see. I will point everything. This is my root. I have some pivot points, because everything what we do now is just like points with some rotation information. Okay, we have something here. I put something here because we have a neck here also. Then we have a head, because everything what I did here, I just replicate, because we have a hip, we have a chest, we have a neck, we have a head, we have a shoulder here. Then we have a arm here, we have a wrist here, and the fingers I don't touch, but you will understand what I mean here. I mean, we have also here this on a left side too, and we have a wrist here. And we know that the center of gravity is here. I mean, I will do it maybe with another color. We just this is my center of gravity, and now I just show where the hierarchy is going now. And just go this way. I just like an arrow here. Sorry for my painting here. is going this way. And now I did something wrong here, and I explain you why. Because normally you will do that. And now we have something here. This hierarchy going here. This is my we have here. I didn't. Okay, we have something also here for my upper leg, and I have something here for my leg here. The hierarchy goes from here to here, from here to here. Okay, this is my hierarchy. The ears, you can just take it, and if you take it in consideration like a finger, they will be the hierarchy will go there. Okay, that means if I move this part, everything will come with. If I move this part, only this part will move because of the hierarchy. You see, here I did something wrong, because if the hierarchy will look like that, what's happened if I rotate or move my or rotate my neck, because this is belong to neck. What's happened? The shoulder will rotate too. And this is not right, because if I do something with my neck, my shoulder not coming with. That's why this hierarchy here is wrong. I just put here some wrong thing here. The right hierarchy is going this way. Because if I move my chest, my shoulder comes with. This is the hierarchy of human being, by simplified version of it. Okay, now we have this rotation points. First thing to do now is create controllers, align them. For example, if I will do here some controller here, some controller here, and some controller here. I like my controller, the axis to be this way, not this way, because this is wrong. Because if I be able to rotate my arm this way, then I have to have proper rotation. That's meant for me. Now I will create a controller object, align them just like I like to have them everywhere. And then we parent all controllers together in a hierarchy without joints, because we have every point here, and we can do the same thing with the controllers. But we have to take in consideration this offset, guys. Can you say me once again, please, why I need these offset groups? For example, here, why I need them?
Like you showed on that side.
Yeah. If I freeze transformation, the wheel is going this way. In this case, I will have my control without any rotation transformation, but it will be aligned here because I will just take this offset group and align to this position. Okay, then let's build the controller. Before we do that, this rig will be in forward kinematic. I will say it once again, F key, that stays for forward kinematic. Just write it down here. Forward kinematic. What it means, because we have to learn this are the basics. First, we learn the forward kinematic. What's happening? Normally, our body is function like that. This is everything, because there is no joint in our skeleton this moving. There is no joint. It's only rotation. If I go somewhere, if I do somewhere, I just rotating my joints. There is nothing else. I don't move because if I move my elbow, I rotate this. If I do this, it's everything rotation. That's why every movement in F key is rotation. Rotation arcs, rotation, rotation. Does make sense to you? Okay, we have this. Forward kinematic, there is advantages and disadvantages of this one. Because imagine this scenario. We just built this rig, and now I want my leg will be, or my feet will be somewhere here, for example. What I have to do, I have to rotate here. I have to rotate here. It doesn't match. I have to rotate again. I have to rotate. It's a mess. It's just like I can spend hours and hours because before I just touch this table. And maybe I have another post. I move my hip somewhere and doesn't work anymore. I have to put here and there. That's why this is great for free motions. For example, if my arms or my legs are in the air, because this method is replicate our skeleton movement. But in 3D, we have to have something different to be able to do the reverse of that. Normally, you can remember it this way. Forward kinematic is rotation, do the translation, because we rotate something, our joints, and reach transformation. There is another method too. This is inverse kinematic. That's why it's named also inverse. What inverse is translation do rotation. That means if I have some place that I can translate, this some algorithms will just rotate my joints with it. Let's calculate the rotation. This is inverse kinematic. I just write it down. This stays for I key. Maybe you hear about. This is inverse kinematic. Okay, we'll talk about this in the next session because today we're going through only this F key. We build the rig without the joints. We'll look at the disadvantages on this rig. And the next time we will go to I key. Does it make sense to you what I did here? Okay, now our workflow is just we create controllers. We can specify our controllers. For example, the controllers that are rotating in every direction. They would have some one shape, and for example, like an elbow, because there is constraint only in one axis. Maybe we can do here something else. It's very good also for animator that you have the controller objects just differentiated one from another, because we if the animator see, okay, this is one, this is for this is one for this, we can just do this also. We just create different kind of controllers. Okay, let's do it. We built our now first controller. We already built one, but this is another one because we have our library, and we just put this controllers in our library, and after we don't We will not build it anymore from scratch. We will take it from our library. Okay, let's build first one. I like to have something like this. It's just like something like that. I will show you what I mean. For example, I like to have something like this. I just hide my model. Let's duplicate this one. I rotate it 90 degrees here. And I duplicate again. And I like to rotate it this way. I have to pick only one. 90 degrees. Okay, I like to have something like that. Okay. How to do that? It's actually also very simple. We did it, I think, together something, but what I will do now, I just if I parent them together, I will never get one object. I need to have only one transform with all these three shapes. What I can do now, I can parent my two shapes to one transform node. If you just show here the shapes, you will see that every one of this circle has transform node and the shape node. Now I will do the following. I will take the shapes of these controllers, this one and this one, and parent them underneath the control object. The problem with it is not that I can just take it and parent it here with the middle mouse button, because it doesn't work. It will, what at the end result will be the transform node will be parented here. You can try, you can put it here. You see, it doesn't work because now I have this transform node parented under transform node. That doesn't work. We have to do something else. And for that, I just do Shift P. For that, what we're doing, we're selecting the shapes and the transform node and writing here follow script. Parent. I just write maybe here that you can better see it. I write it first in script editor in mel, because this is mel command. Okay, it will be this way, parent underscore, not underscore, minus R and minus C. If you want to see what these guys are here, and semicolon not forgotten, don't forget the semicolon. Now you can just do the quick help and you will see what these guys mean. There are flags for the command. It's just like a robot with some, this command is my robot and I give him some instruction what to do. Parent what? Well, look here, the R is relative and C is shape. Parent, please, the shapes or shape, we know that the parent command can have many children and only one parent object. That's why I select first the children and after the parent object. And now if I execute it here or here, if I, for example, I take it this here and press Control Enter, you see what's happened. I achieve something what I like. I have one object, but everything jump back to default. Why? Because before you do this, you have to freeze transformation on these objects. I just come back once again. First, what I do, I select these three objects and freeze transformation. And then I select two shapes, Control select my transform node. And now if I just select and Control Enter is just execute this command without throwing this away. Because if I put it here and execute it, for example, oh, sorry, copy, paste. If I press enter now here, it disappears. But I like to have this command here. I can bring it back, but better you just do it this. Let's take it. And you see now I have my object is only one. If you now just hide the shapes, I have only one object. On this look like that. You see, this is my object. Does it make sense to you what we did now? Okay, great. I put it to my library and I will do maybe another kind of object. What also good to do here is just like go here, show the shapes. It's okay. I mean, I can do this because I need my control object, just like I did for, I just do here, for example, control. First my side left, control underscore part, because this part will be we will just replace with a script. Okay, I copied it. I like to rename these guys too. You see, if you do this, it's automatically rename the shapes too. I have shape 1, shape 2, and shape 3. And after, if I rename my object, normally it automatically rename also my shapes. But if not, it's not so important, because everything what I need is my control object now. Now I can put it in my library. Okay. Now I will do another control object. Is just for example, I have the robot here, and maybe I like to have only one rotation, for example, in one axis, what the elbows are and knees are. Okay, let's do it. I hide my object here. And I do the circle. Very simple. Nerves primitive, circle. That's it. This is my another controller. I just write here right underscore CTR underscore part underscore 1. I just write wrong here. Okay, I have a part 1. And now we have these two control objects. The first thing to think about, you see this one has no construction history. This one has one. You see this make circle. On a control object, actually, you don't need any construction history, because it will make your performance slower. I go here and say edit, delete by type history. Now I have clean object here. They are frozen. You see, they are everything here at 0. And what I do now, I like to have these two groups above. As I mentioned before, one group will be offset group that will take all this dirty transformation, and one group I can take it from me for the automatization. For example, if I have some hand motion, I can do some connection that I can do the shapes. For example, relax, peace, that I just have a slider there. I just put here and they make peace or relax or do some stuff, fist or whatever. this one group I need only for the automatization. My control object is for animation. I can animate over. Then I will have the SDK group for automatization, and the offset group will be to take these old dirty transforms. Now let's build these two groups. I just take my control object that is visible here. Actually, you can press minus or plus to make the arrows a little bit bigger or smaller. And now I just select my object and do Control G twice. You see now we have these two groups above. You have to be sure that you are on origin, otherwise it will never work. What I do now, I just copy this name and put just SDK on front of the first group. SDK underscore the name of my control object. And I just do the same only with off underscore, and I put the name of my control object. Now my first controller is done. Now I do the same for this guy. I just take this and just press Control G twice and do the same here. Copy this guy, put here SDK underscore, put the name here, offset underscore, oh, sorry, put the name. Now we have these two control objects. Now I put them in the library because I need them, and after we will bring them here and do the rig. Okay, I just take these two guys and I say File, Export Selection. Or, yeah, Export Selection. Then I will do here Maya ASCII Export Selection. You see we have here some controls. And I will do here C because I will delete this. You can write wherever you want. I just press C here. I need only these two guys. Okay, export selection. Now what I do, I can get rid of this guy because I don't need them anymore here. I say my scene, and then I open my controller objects. Where is my open scene? And I open in scenes. I have my controller objects. You see controls. I open them because I like to have all controls in one file, not here 100 files, different controls. Okay. Then you see I already have one. Now I import another one, this C, inside of this scene. Please be sure that this option is activated. May merge into selected namespaces because I don't want any namespaces here. And you see I have this control object, this one, and this one. We have to just show this guy with Shift H. You see we have now three control objects. One this, and one this. And then will be enough to rig our robot first. Now what I do, I save my scene. Now I go to my Maya directory. You see here I am in my Maya directory, scenes, and I don't need this C anymore. I just delete it. And now instead of controls, I rename this guy to lib for library underscore controls. Now I know, okay, I have some controls here. Now I open my robot again. I go to assets and open my orange bot. Here you have to be careful. He will ask you, it doesn't ask anymore. Normally it's ask if you want to save the scene. If you save the scene, it will create new scenes with name controls. Okay, now I have my robot here. You see, as my robot is there. And here we have a controls. Now we decided to do this without joins. And now we go to our folder structure. I just import my folder structure that I already give it to you in this file. And I import also the control objects. I go here and say import this lib controls, import. You see I have my controllers here. And I go here, import. And you see we also did this folder structure and I imported also. You see I have now my control, my folder structure already here. And I have my controls. Okay, are you ready? Everything you have on your drive, because I put everything in this whole scene structure you have. You just copy this old file that I have, all files that I have here. This whole scene you have on your drive. You just copy paste because everything you find here. No, the controls are here and scenes. But now I update it again because I did some. I update all the scene, all scene. Okay, I update this whole. I just delete this. And I bring my one. Okay, now you have. Right. It's because of the ship, anyway. Okay, now if you open my scene, you will get this all here. The scene name is as an asset folder because I work with the assets here. I liked my rig be reference because I can already give, for example, my model to do a rough layout, and then I will work and update my reference in the animation file on the rough file as a raw layout file. Okay, no problem. Okay, you see now we have to create the controller objects. Paste them. Okay, are you ready? No, you don't need UI elements. You have to import the controls, not UI elements, just like controls, but we already did it. Okay, now I need something for hip. One control for hip. What I can do, I use this guy here. Where is my node? Name node. Anyway, this one I will use for my hip. Now what I do, I just duplicate this one with Control D. And now I place this. First, I rename this. How to rename? Very simple. I just take this one or select this one. I go to modify, replace, search, and replace name. Now I take a part. And replace it with hip. And you see, if I press now replace, now I have hip. I have to just change this 2 to 1 because I have only one of it. And now I just place it. Be careful here, very careful. We just taking always by placing or aligning the offset group, not the controller. If you put a controller, it will be very bad because he will get transformation here and everything will looks not like. Okay, I just take this and bring here. Something like that is my hip control. Now you can do something that I already said to you. Now I like to make this control object a little bit smaller. Please don't scale the group. As I already mentioned here, after aligning the control, change the shape of control in component mode. Perfect. I select my control object, press F9, select this, and now I can just do the changes here. Maybe you can do something here. Maybe you can take this guy, scale them, take this guy, scale them. Oh, sorry, the 3 guys. If you want, I mean, you don't want to do it, but it's better. You see, you have this shape. Now you just can maybe take this all guys and reshape them. What's great about this method is that if you go with F8, your transform node is not adjusted, only the shape. Okay, now we have one thing. This is my hip. Now I like to have another control object that rotates my body. How to do it? Very simple. I just take another control object here, but I like to have this one for the chest. Okay, how to do it? Very simple. I select my chest object, not chest object, this one, sorry. I just duplicate it because these are my library objects. I just duplicate this And you see now it's very important to figure out where my rotation pivot of this guy is. And my rotation pivot is, if you press 4 here, you see this is some kind of sphere here, and this rotating about this sphere. If I put 5 again here, I would say we will put somewhere here. Then you take always the offset group. You see I have this part here is now just duplicated. Now I rename this to chest. I go here to modify, search and replace names, and I say give me the chest. I say replace. Don't forget make 1 from out of 2 here. And now I just put, don't forget, just select this one, this offset group. And I bring it a little bit here. You can look also in a front view here. You can also show wireframe on shaded if you like. And you see, first thing you see that this model have to be moved to the right a little bit because it's not symmetrical. You see, that's why it was wrong here. You see, if you look here, the middle line is here and my object is there. What you have to do is you have to select your model group and move it this way that it's match the center. How to do, you can just select this guy here and now you can go down. And if you press middle mouse button and just move, you can put the model in the middle. About 0, 3, 3. You can go a little bit more and just do it with middle mouse button. And you see I have about 0, 3, 8. Now it's symmetrical, some kind of symmetrical, because look here. You look on this line, you see it's, the more you go, the more you see the difference here. You see, the more the zoom in, it's rotated a little bit. Maybe we can push some kind of in the middle. You know, it's not have to be a perfect because it's nobody will see it. Okay, save. Yeah, because I said it to you. This is departure, the modeling departure. You have to say, hey, the model is wrong. Give me the right model. Otherwise, you'll get a problem. Because, yeah. Anyway, we cannot go to the an internet and say this guy, hey, can you update your model? Wait, I have this chest rotation, and I like to, you can imagine it will be something here, and yeah, it's great. Now I have this. Now I have to change the shape. What I have to go to component mode. You select this guy, press F9, and now you can change this. You can just take this all guys here, for example. You can put them up. You can scale them if you want. You see something like that. I will do maybe this kind of this, and maybe I just take this all these controllers here and just scale them together like that, and just bring them a little bit up. You see, I try to build the chest with these controls, and I see I just, okay, something like that. You see, I have just scale maybe this one, and you see I built my control object. a little bit scale in this direction. And you see if I press F8, I have some kind of control here. Does it make sense to you what we're doing? Perfect. Are you ready for the next step? Well, say it louder. Yeah. Well, cool. That's the way that I like to have it. Okay, now we do something for the leg. I show you one technique that I also use here. For example, I like to have something because this is some kind of joint. You see this rotating inside of this. This is kind of a sphere here, and I like to place something not manually. I have to. I like to take in consideration the geometry here. How can I do it? It's also very simple. If you take this guy and hide it, because I like to have this one. You see here, because the rotation point is somewhere here in the middle. And then what you do, you go to the edge mode and double click on this edge. What I do now, I will create something that's average the position of every, it will be directly in the middle of this edge loop. And then I will use my alignment tool. In this case, I will use not a parent constraint, or a parent constraint I can also use. But I will use point constraint because it's all about translation. I don't want to mess first with rotation. How can I do it? Now I have this. If I press 4, you see it selected my edge loop here. Now I go here to rigging tab. You also can do it in modeling because I need a deformer. But we're doing now rigging. That's why I go to rigging tab. And you see here under deform, you have this cluster. What this cluster will do, it will create one object with average position in the middle. And now what I can do, I can create new controller object and align this object to this cluster. And after I can just delete this cluster because this cluster is just a placeholder that provides me to spend the time to move my control object directly in the middle. I will never get it, but now I can get it because it's directly in the middle. Okay, now we have to create new control object. I just select this one again No, not this one, because I like to have something like the joint here. And I duplicate it again. Please select the offset groups. We're working when we're aligning with groups. When we reshape the controller after alignment, we do this in component mode. Okay, duplicate, Control D. Now I have to align it. It's very simple. You select your cluster because it's a parent. Control select your object here and go here, constraint, parent or point, doesn't matter, because we just needed translation, not a rotation. In this case, I name my point, I take my point constraint, go to option box and deactivate this maintain offset, because if I let it this way, my controller will stay here. I deactivate it. The better thing to do here, just reset setting. You see, and you have this. And now I say add. You see, now my control object is perfectly aligned with this cluster. Now what I can do, I can delete my cluster because I don't need it anymore. And I can delete also, with this cluster, the constraint will disappear also. You need, I have my control object here. And now I align already. Can you follow me? We create cluster, we select cluster, shift select this, and we did a point constraint without maintain offset, and I delete the cluster. If you delete the cluster, the point constraint disappears also. Now I aligned the position. Now I have to change my shape. What I do, I select my control object in viewport, press F9, and now I can select this all and just put it down, something like that. And press F8 again. Now I have this. You see it perfectly in the middle. And you see I doing this for the left side. Then I can, after, if I have symmetrical model, just duplicate it and put it or mirror to the other side. Good. Now I do something for the knee. Okay. The same thing here. I need some place to make my position of rotation. And the base place is here. You can also select now the faces, because now I select the faces because I like to have it in the middle here. Not if I select this edge, it will be here, but I like to have it in the middle. You can also select these two edge loops, or you go here to select your object, go to faces and select this faces. Okay, and now you can do a cluster. Deform cluster. You see now it's perfectly in the middle. Now I need my knee control. But before I do my knee control, I like to rename this guy here, because it's the name is part and that's not right. I go here, modify, search and replace name, and I say part, and I need here upper leg. And press replace. Don't forget to change this to 1 because we have only 1, and don't forget to save this. Same thing here, but I need the control object, not this one. I need this guy here. I show you something here how to. Good, I duplicate it. I will rename it because it's knee. I go here. You have to be careful because you see we have here right side. On this will be a left side. First thing to do, I go here, modify, search and replace names. You have to be here also careful. Sometimes someone works on your computer and it says selected. If it's selected, it will rename only selected object here. But if you do the hierarchy, it will go through the hierarchy and rename it. But by default, it stays here, the hierarchy activated. Okay, I need here my knee. I just put knee here. Press apply. I don't want to replace because I want this R will be replaced with left. What I do here, I say look for underscore right underscore or just right underscore and replace it with underscore left underscore. And I say here apply. You see now we have everywhere. You see I have here nothing. It was not right for me to put here underscore here because it didn't understand here because I have no underscore here. The right way will be here. For example, I will show you. I go back. Do this without underscore. You see, you do the replace and replace everything. Don't forget, put one here. And now the same procedure. We will take the cluster. We will say take the offset group and do the same. I go here, constraint, point constraint. I already know this maintain offset is off. And I delete my cluster. You see, if I delete my cluster, this guy will go because this has connection to cluster. I just delete it. And you see, now we have the control object. Now it's aligned, but it's wrong. Now I have to correct it. How I correct it? I go to component mode. Now I can select this guy, for example, and rotate it also. Now I press J. It activate the 15-degree snap rotation, and I can rotate 90 degrees here. And now I can scale it to the size. Perfect. Now we have our control object. Maybe I do a little bit bigger. You have to take in consideration if you have the geometry here. If you look from a side, you see it a little bit small for selecting. That's why you can go here, just press F9 and maybe do it a little bit bigger, or you can even scale it down here, whatever you want. I mean, it's just like shape. I will do a little bit this way. Okay, perfect. This green things means this is no material on it. Someone forget to put material. You can put some material that you already have in. But it's okay. Do we have now this all control objects? Great. Now I will do something. I will build now my rig already with this controller for the building hierarchy. The same things, the same method applies for everywhere. And your homework is to make this whole rig done with this all, because the technique is the same. I will show you how to build a hierarchy now, how to put everything in a hierarchy, and how to just parent the geometry to our rig. And then we will be able to move our controllers, and this whole hierarchy or the whole model will follow. Okay? Good. Now I do the hierarchy. You already know that the master is here. That means the master is this one. Everything will be parented underneath in a hierarchical order. For example, this guy become a child of this one. Here you have to be very, very, very careful. If you have the offset group, you have the parent offset group under controller, not the controller. Because if you select now controller and parent it, this all groups stays alone, and your controller will lose every will get this all dirty transformation on it, on lose all this alignment. You can write it on your notice book if you have offset group on a controller. Please parent offset group under parent object. Now we have this. Normally what I do, I will go from here. I will go from knee to here to here. That means the offset of this controller will be parented underneath this control. The offset of this controller will be parented under this control. The same thing here. The offset of this controller will be parented underneath of this control, because this is my main center of gravity. Let's do it. I take now my knee control, the offset group, and just take it with a middle mouse and parent it underneath the upper leg. Now I take my upper leg and I bring it underneath my hip control. And now I take my chest and I put it underneath my hip. Now I show what's happened. I just hide my model here. Now we have these controller objects. I hide my library objects. You see these guys, I don't want to see. Now we have three controllers here. If I take this guy, everything will follow. If I rotate this one, I have this. And if I take my chest, it rotates also here. And if I like to bring my model back, I just take O and I say, hey, here, come back for me. You see, we get this. No shape is, there is no shape. Please turn off the shapes. You have only controls. Okay, I parented the offset of knee under this control. But if I open everything, you will never learn. You have to understand what we're doing. We'll do it again. I want you to understand. Okay, Shift P. Shift P. And maybe I ask you before I do something. Okay, great. Now I have my knee control. Okay, this control has offset group. if the child object has an offset group, you have to pick the offset group. Otherwise, the control object will jump out of the group, and all what we did is just like a big mess. Okay, now I like this controller will be parent, will be child of this, because look, I have my hip here, this guy here. If it's moving, this guy moving too, I like this one to be child of this one. It is right because it's doing this. It's not reversed, does it? Okay, what do you have to do? You have here offset group. You take the offset group and parent it underneath was what? And you take the offset of the child and parent it underneath what? No. No. Under controller, right. Why not underneath the group? What's happening if you parent it underneath group? It will do this way. You will rotate your controller. It will nothing happen because under your controller is inside the group. The group is the parent, and if you rotate this control, I will do it for you. Look, I just take this this knee control and parent it underneath the offset group. What's happened? It's fine, but if I rotate this, nothing happened here because there is no connection going from my control object to here. But if I just zero it, if I take my offset knee control and parent it underneath control object, then if I rotate my control, but now is the parent of this, now it will go with. Does it make sense to you? Perfect. Then please say me how to parent it this guy, because this guy is coming with my hip. If I move my hip, this won't come with. This guy has an offset group. Now I like to parent this guy underneath this one. What I have to do? Of the child is always offset of the child to control of the parent. You can write it big on in your notice book because it's only this way. If you have otherwise, you will rotate your controller object and nothing happens. I will show you before. Okay, we'll take the offset group of the child and parenting under what? Right. I just open my hip control. Here's the opened, and I take upper leg offset and put it underneath the hip. Now, if I move or rotate my hip, everything is following. Does it make sense to you? Perfect. Now we have a chest. If I move my hip, my chest follows. Look, I move my hip and my chest follows. Not my chest, if I move my chest. Okay, anyway. Now the chest have to be parented underneath this guy. How to do it? In this case, it will be chest and which controller? Right? Perfect. Now we do for you. Maybe we will do another one. I go now with because here's a little bit. I will do one controller because there is something you have to change, and then we'll put these guys in the right place and a folder structure, and also parenting this all geometries that we'll see what's happened, and then maybe there is a time I will change the color of this all guys because it's better to see the colors. For example, for the mid in Maya is always yellow, for the left side is always red, and for the right side is always blue. It's just like a cliche. It stays for years. Okay. Good. Now I do the chest shoulder control. The shoulder control I like to place here, where the middle of this guy is. You see, I have here some faces that I can select. Now I do it. I just select this guy here, press F11, and now I show you the trick. If you select this guy, just in selection mode, and then you press and hold Shift and double click on this, it will select your loop. Once again, select this one, Shift, double click. Now we create what? Cluster. We form cluster. And now we need shoulder control here. Now I take something else from my library. Not this one, this one. I duplicate it, Control D. I rename it. I go here, modify, search and replace name. I take part underscore and replace it with shoulder underscore. I forgot H here. Apply. Don't forget, put here 1. Perfect. And now to align this object, it's very simple. You just select the cluster, control select your shoulder, constraint, point constraint. You see I have it here. I delete my cluster. And now I have to align this object because you see it stays this way. What you do now, you just select offset group and rotate it to right place. How to do it? Very simple. You select the offset group because we're not done with alignment. Select offset group, select your rotation tool. You can do it here because it's better to see the orientation, and just orient this way, like this. You see, you put here. In my case is 37 degree. 37. Okay. And don't freeze transformation because this alignment we need. You see what's happened here. If I go now to my, you see it's aligned. My controller has 0 rotation. If I go here, you see it's everything zeroed out. And now you can change the shape. You select it, go to F9, select everything, and now you can just put the shoulder on place. You see here, you can, yeah, it's great. I think you can also make this if you like, but I let it this way because I like this way. Does it make sense to you what we did? Why this offset groups there? Wow. And you see now it's perfectly. Now I can rotate and it will rotate and right. It will mess everything up. You try just do it. Yeah, just try. Because you lose this rotation here. You see, if you rotate now, it's perfectly aligned. If I do now freeze transformation on my here, I do it for you. Here, modify, freeze transformation. Look what's happened with your rotation messed up. here on there. You cannot use it. Your controller stays right, but you can rotate it because it's wrong. The rotation. How can you rotate this? You know what I mean? Okay. That's why never. It's taboo to freeze transformation on offset group because offset taking all this bad transformation. Now the question is, whether I have to parent this guy. Just yeah. And how can I do it? Because this controller has offset group.
Parent the offset group of the shoulder controller under the shape mode of the chest controller.
Perfect. I take my shoulder and parent underneath the chest control. And now if I take my hip, you see everything. Oh, sorry, not hip, my hip. Okay, this hip. You see everything rotating with. Does it make sense to you what we did? Perfect. Now we just finish whatever we did here because everything now you can just repeat. It's your homework. I put now whole rig together, put it in a structure, and show you where the thing's going. First thing to do, I like to put my controller objects in correspondent folder structure places for the controller object. But before I do this, you have one global control because I like to have some global control to move my whole rig somewhere. For example, if these robots have to start in another galaxy, I have to use this one. How to do it? Now we have the hip control because hip control is my master of everything. And I like to, this hip control will be moved with my global control. How can I do it? The hip control also have offset group. That's the same thing, isn't it? I take offset from hip and parent it underneath what? On this control, isn't it? Good. We have this control mid name. You see here is just like I put mid here, but you can take it away because it doesn't make any sense here. Okay, now I change the mid, the name with robot or the orange robot or this mid name with orange robot. I do it first. I go here and say modify, search and replace name. I take mid or I just look here underscore mid underscore not underscore mid underscore, and now we have name here. Please search for underscore mid underscore name and replace it with underscore robot underscore. Press replace. You see now I have orange robot underscore. And now I take my hip offset and I put it underneath my orange, this control. This is the global control here. You see now if I take my global, if I rotate everything come with, if I bring somewhere, if I like to have it here, everything coming with. I just hide these guys because I don't need them. Do we have it already parented? Perfect. Now I have my folder structure. Now I take this name and also replace this with orange robot. I go here, select my node, go here and modify search and replace names. And I say, take please the name underscore and replace it with orange robot underscore fixed. You see, I have my folder structure, and now it's very simple. Now you can say for me what this all guys going now. Okay, I have controller object, and the controller object always have offset group where they have to go. If I open here, you see here it says controls. It's not simple. You just take the offset group and put it underneath controls. Now I have geometry. I can write down, because this is a group, I freeze transformation on it, modify freeze transformations. And I just put here model, whatever. This is my model. And now I will not skin this object, because skin in this case is not deforming. I will parent constrain it. That means I will parent constrain my parts to my control object. Very simple. Let's do it. It's very simple. Before you do, you can put your model underneath orange robot geo to constrain. It's everything is here, saying everything for you. I just take this model and bring it here under geo to constrain. Now we have everything. Look how perfect my outline look like. Only one node, everything inside. Is everything scalable? If you go to global scale, you can take, you see everything working perfect. You have no double transformation. I put it to 1 again. Okay, are you ready with it? I just show maybe my model here. You see, because I hide this guy. Do we have it already? Perfect. Good. Now it's very simple to do. We said this control with control this. We just parent constrain it with the offset, because this is not aligned to my controller. It's fine. In this case, if you parent the model to controller, use please the maintain offset. Otherwise, if they are not, you cannot align this, because you have to put the pivot point here. It's a mess. That's why we're just doing. We know that by constraining, what you select first. Parent will be what? Control. Okay, I just select my control object, select this guy, and go here. Constraint, parent constraint. Be careful here. Reset setting. Maintain offset on. Add. The order what you do is doesn't matter anymore, because your hierarchy is already there. I just go through. I just select this guy. What?
Just select the parent and the child.
I repeat the same operation. The operation is the same. You have to just understand. Now we have this rig, this moving right, because we have a hierarchy here. Now I have to parent this geometry to my control object. That means we know that we select the parent object first, following by geometry. Here, you don't want to think about anything. It's just very simple task. You just select your control object, select your geometry, parent constraint. Controller, select parent constraint. Not select this controller on this, because it made no sense. Does it? No. Okay, this is very simple here. You select your control object, select your chest, go here, constraint parent with offset. Now I go here, I select my hip, press G, it's just like repeat. I select my leg, press G. G is just like repeat the last command. I select my controller here, press G. What's happened now? If I select this one, you see now I can move my leg. If I select my knee, I can move my knee. If I select my hip, I can move my hip. If I select my chest, I can move my chest. And if I my hand, I can move it. Okay, we have to maybe do something here, maybe parent it to another place, but it's another story. And if last thing that I like to show you at the end of the day what you have to do, because everything here is in structure, because I don't want my animator to select my geometry, because it will be messed. What we do here, I go to my orange robot geo2 constraint here, and this is folder instruction. Everything is underneath is my model. What I do here, I go to attribute editor. I just go here, drawing overrides. This is under display. You see here, display, drawing overrides. I go enable override and do reference. You see now my animator can just only select my control object. Now I cannot, he cannot break my rig, because it's everything what he can do. I mean, just take this model, place somewhere. You know, it's only the parts that we're parenting are there now, and now animate. You see, now we will also lock the transformation, because we don't want to my animator do this. Okay, if I don't want to, if I want to go it back, I just select everything here and I say, hey, look, just go please back. Does it make sense to you why we did this all zero transformation, why we did all this hierarchy, why we did this guy? Perfect. Louder. Good. Is there any questions so far? No. Okay, please do your homework, because here will be a little bit complicated. Please think about this finger. I give you one tip on the fingers. These guys are okay. If you grab, they're doing in one direction. This guy is rotated in 45 degrees, because this guy not doing this guy doing this. You have to align your controller this way. If you rotate, then they rotate in this way, not this way. Does it make sense to you? Okay, everything else is the same thing. You just do controller, align controller, change shape your controller in component mode. Then you parent the controller. When you take the offset of the child on parent underneath the control of the parent, and after you just take your geometry and parent constrain it to the control object. That's it. Do it please for everything. You can put the ears here. On the ears are children of the head, and then you can rotate also the ears. Okay, good. Is there any questions?